Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. I am coming to you. I know this is not breaking news as it happened yesterday, but I didn't feel up to discussing it on Monday. This tragic news. Um, Actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner was announced yesterday on Monday that he passed away, and I learned about it on social media. I was on Instagram, and when I first saw the first blog post that posted it, it took me a good 30 seconds to even fully process what was said, because I was like, wait, what? Malcolm Jamal, he's so, and it was confusing. And once I was able to wrap my mind around the news that he had passed away, I was completely just in shock. At first, there were not many details. We did not know what had happened, where it was. As the day progressed, more details came out. um, Malcolm was only 54 years old, which is very, very shocking because that's such a young age. But it was confirmed that actor Malcolm Jamal Warner did pass away. He actually passed away on Sunday in Costa Rica. He passed away due to an accidental drowning. He was on vacation with his family. He was there with his wife, as well as with his daughter. I believe his daughter was around 7 years old. Malcolm does not really discuss his personal life that much, so I don't believe we've ever even seen a photograph of like his wife or not even really his daughter. He was a very private person, but it was just kind of crazy. I'm on screen now because um none of us know the day, the hour, the time that we're going to leave this earth, but it was still a shock because he was on vacation. He was somewhere trying to relax with his family and to just have this shocking, tragic incident happen and take his life. I felt so horrible, because I lost both my dads. So I feel like whenever there is somebody who like loses the father, it like hits me differently now or whatever. So I felt so bad for his daughter, you know what I'm saying? Because they were there on a family trip, and to be somewhere enjoying life and then to lose your life, to lose your spouse, to lose your father, is just completely heartbreaking. And while we, knew him, I guess the most from his time on the Cosby Show. I feel like we've all like he was always Theo Huxtable to us, but he has starred in other shows and other movies and other things over the years. I think the most that he may be known for was again the Cosby Show. He was also on him and Eddie Griffin had their own show together called Malcolm and Eddie. He was also on the show Read Between the Lines with him and Tracy Ellis Ross. Because Malcolm and Eddie aired from, well, the Cosby Show aired from 1984 to 1992. Malcolm and Eddie aired from 1996 to 2000. Read Between the Lines aired from 2011 to I think around 2015, and he did other shows, movies, and TV things in between there. I know he was on The Resident. I know I saw him recently on an episode of 911 that came on, but he's been in a lot of other things, since he was on the Cosby Show. But it was just like that. I feel like where we knew him the most from that because he was Theo Huxtable. It's like he was all of our cousin. So it was just shocking to hear about him passing away. And it was kind of crazy because when they said an accident or drowning, we did not know what had happened. And the details from the actual people there in Costa Rica, they put up that again he died on July 20th at the age of 54 as a result of an accidental drowning off the coast of Costa Rica. The Costa Rica Judicial Investigation Agency was the one who, notified everyone of what happened. Um, apparently, he died of asphyxia, by submersion, meaning he drowned. Um, they said that he went swimming around 2 p.m. Around 2 p.m., 2:30 p.m. There, and he was apparently dragged away by a current offshore. As the other beachgoers were able to rescue him and bring him back to shore. However, when they tried to revive him, they were not able to do that. And it's just completely heartbreaking because no one wants to go away on a vacation, and then you're trying to relax and have a good time, and you're trying to relax. 'Cause a lot of, like, I love the water, um a lot. I'm a very much so a water baby, and no one expects to go for a swim and then not come back, and there's even to not be able to save yourself. Even that, it's just so terrible to hear. Even the people who watched it happen, the other beachgoers who watched it happen, the other beachgoers who were able to pull him ashore from what happened, but then again, no one been able to revive him. I know at one point they brought up how he, went for the solo swim. And once he did not come back, is when they were like, "What's going on?" And they realized that he had passed away from the drowning. And I feel like everyone was completely shocked. I'm going to show some of the Instagram posts that we saw on Monday. I feel like Essence had the best synopsis of Malcolm-Jamal Warner, again born in 1970 to 2025. They put we're heartbroken to report the passing of Malcolm-Jamal Warner at the age of 54 from an apparent drowning. A generation grew up with Warner as Theo Huxtable, the beloved and only son of the Huxtable clan of The Cosby Show, which first aired in 1984 when he was just 14 years old. His portrayal helped redefine black boyhood on screen, offering humor, vulnerability, and depth across 8 seasons. I feel like on that show, I think the scene most people always revert back to is the Gordon Gartrell scene, where he has Denise make him the shirt to impress his little friends. Them singing to the grandparents, the night and day, with Ray Charles. They had both Theo and Rudy singing that song. Just a lot of different scenes from that show that we loved growing up. Um, it also brings up, but Warner's talents extended far beyond the sitcom world. In 2015, he became a Grammy Award winner for Best Traditional R&B Performance, sharing an honor with Robert Glasper, Experiments, and Layla Hathaway for the powerful track "Jesus Children." He was an actor, poet, musician, and storyteller, but above all, a father, partner, and friend. Within our deepest prayers and love to his family, loved ones, and those touched by his presence. May he rest in peace. Um, because it was just crazy to even wrap our head around it. Black's media showed a few things that he starred in over the years. The Magic School Bus, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, where he was dating Hillary, the Tuskegee Airmen, Malcolm and Eddie, of course, the Cosby Show as well, The Residents, a show called Jeremiah. He was also on, I think, 2 seasons of The Accused, the show Read Between the Lines. He was also on Suits, and again, there were other things as well. Because again, it wasn't only him on the Cosby Show. Again, I think this was the first block I saw that announced that he passed away, which is the Neighborhood Talk. I was hoping it was a mistake, honestly, but come to find out it wasn't. A few stars, a lot of stars. I caught only a couple of them who had commented and made posts in remembrance of Malcolm. Eddie Griffin, who starred with him on the Malcolm and Eddie, said, "My heart is heavy today for what the world lost was a father, a son, a poet, a musician, an actor, a teacher, a writer, director, a friend, a warrior that I had the pleasure of going to war with against the Hollywood machine and sometimes with each other because that's what brothers do. But the love was and is always there. You've always taught me so much. And I thank you, rest well, my brother, rest well, my big little brother." Again, that was from Eddie Griffin, who starred with him on Malcolm and Eddie. Um, Jamie Foxx also, made a post to send speeches on this rest in power, my brother. Again, it everyone shocking. Even this morning Monday morning, as I was scrolling social media and I was seeing different posts, it was so many celebrities who were his friends, his colleagues, and the people who knew him, and not only celebrities, but also us fans who have loved him since we saw him on the Cosby Show. We also had Niecy Nash who posted, my God, we just spoke. You were giving me my flowers for my work in Grotesque. And we talked about how happy we both were in our marriages. Damn, friend, you were a cornerstone of the Cosby Show. We all love Theo. Never to be forgotten. You will be missed. Rest easy. Um, I feel like no, I've never heard anyone say any negative thing about him. Tracy Ellis Ross, again, who played his wife on the show Read Between Lines. She posted a few pictures of them from their time on their show. If y'all have never watched their show, you should. I don't even know if it's streaming somewhere. But Read Between Lines was a great show. But again, she posted a few flicks of them from that time. Again, from around 2011 to 2015 that they played on the show together. She put, I love you, Malcolm. First, I met you as Theo with the rest of the world. Then you were my first TV husband. My heart is so sad. With an actor and a friend you were. I'm sorry, what an actor and a friend you were. A warm, gentle presence, kind, thoughtful, deep, funny, elegant. You made the world a brighter place. Sending you so much love to your family. I'm so sorry for this unimaginable loss. I was crying this morning because again, it just touched so many people. Even Holly Robbins and Pete made a post as well. I'm struggling to process this. Malcolm was so deeply loved, respected, and a true icon of television. We first met in the 80s on the set of The Cosby Show, where my dad was a writer producer and remained friends throughout the years. He was always gracious, kind, and funny, and gave the absolute best hug. I'm sending my deepest condolences to his mom, Pamela, and his family. We aren't ready to say goodbye, Malcolm, but you lived with purpose, character, presence, and grace. Rest well, my friend. Your light will live on. And again, there were just a number of posts this morning from everyone. Again, not only celebrities, but also just regular people who loved him. The rep for Bill Cosby also made a comment to TMZ. I also have a bit of audio conversation from him as well. Bill Cosby rep Andrew, because again, a lot of people, take away Bill Cosby's crimes. Okay. He and Malcolm-Jamal Warner still had a relationship, so we can't um ignore that, So we'll put that out there. But the rep for Bill Cosby said when Bill got the call that Warner died on vacation in Costa Rica, it reminded him of being in studio filming the Cosby Show in January of 1997 when he got a call from him that his son Enos Cosby was shot dead in a failed robbery attempt. Wyatt says news of Malcolm-Jamal's death hit him the same way as Enos's murder. The two of us played together when they were younger and they were amazing together. So we're gonna get into Bill a little bit later. Legacy, of course, made a post as well. Malcolm, my brother, my friend and colleague. We've done music and television together. We've talked to you about possibly doing a film with Ron T. Young and I. The joy in your voice as you spoke about your daughter the last time we talked is all I can think about at this moment. Sigh. Praying for you and your family. You made a mark on so many of us. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, thank you for being a beautiful light. A master class on the phrase a class act. Well done. Gone too soon. Um, Melissa Ford did. I have a bit of an audio from her as well. Made a post of the sheet. He was on her podcast recently. Again, and that was a great thing. We showed Tracy Ellis Ross. We showed Eddie Griffin as well. Jamie Foxx as well. Tyrese did a long post, a very, very long post. But because it hit people so hard, so I can't read all of that. But again, Tyrese made a very, very long post, ending it with today we sit in that grief and we say goodbye to the man who gave us more than entertainment. He gave us hope. He gave us another way to exist. Rest well, Malcolm. Um, the podcast, not the podcast, but Bill Cosby did 2 phone interviews at Pieces of Both, so you can listen to those.
I had an opportunity to talk to you about Malcolm-Jamal Warner. What do you want people to remember about him?
He was never afraid to go to his room and study. He knew his lines and that he was quite comfortable even with the growing pains of being a teenager.
When's the last time you spoke to him?
3 months ago. What we talked about was something he was very proud of. He had done a concert in Minnesota with the symphony, and there was something he had written, but he was very proud of what he had done and what he had said, and it was about living in America.
Have you spoken to Miss Felicia Rashad? Have you guys talked about this?
Yes, we have. And we were embracing each other over the phone about a dearly beloved friend.
I wanted to.
And again, no matter what our thoughts of Bill Cosby, we can't negate the fact that he and Malcolm-Jamal Warner had a kinship. Malcolm again was on the podcast with Melissa Ford, her Hot and Bottle podcast, discussing his legacy.
If it's fragile, and in the blink of an eye,
you never know.
You never know. So speaking of legacy, what do you hope that your legacy is going to be? It's a tough question, huh?
Yeah. Especially
kids help with the legacy question, right?
Yeah. I mean, and because I'm 54, I think about that a lot. So it's interesting. I remember my mother said to me one time that Mr. Cosby gave you immortality.
Facts. That is very true.
Right? So I know on one lane, there's legacy there. But also because my life, those former years were always about life beyond Cosby, right? So I feel like, okay, there's that legacy there, but then because I've had this full life, after that show, there's another lane of legacy that I get to leave, and I'm still working through that. There is part of me that I will be able to leave this earth, knowing and people knowing that I was a good person. And I talked to my dad, I talked to him yesterday, and what he said to me often, people love you and people are always talking about, your career and your success and all of that. He said, but what really makes me the most proud is that you are a good person. And I had it from my dad.
That's wonderful.
But I'm a good person because my dad's a good person. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah. It is possible to walk through this world, and with all of the darkness in the world, it is possible to maintain your soul and be a good person.
It is. It definitely is.
So that being one of his last interviews, is very telling, for him, even all the things that people have said about him, with him passing, it is, child, it is wonderful to be able to say, you know what, if I leave this world, at least everyone knows I was a good person. Because everybody can't say that. And I feel like the way that everyone reacted to his passing, all the shock, and not just shock because he passed away. But also shock in him not being here. People who would actually miss him. Him, his spirit, his laughter, it's just his energy, and that does show how he was a good person. Again, I haven't seen anyone say anything negative about him at all, and that is what I think anyone would hope will be their legacy. That when they leave this earth, that there are no stones left unturned of like, oh my God, we we didn't like, you know what I'm saying? Just greatness. And from his TV shows to his spoken word, his poetry, to any movies and all anything in between, he will be missed. And it's just very unfortunate that this tragedy has happened. But rest in peace to Malcolm-Jamal Warner. And again, condolences to his wife, to his children, to his daughter, to his family, and everyone else. Yeah, I mean, again, I could not, I did not even have the brain power, the energy, the spirit to, do the breaking news on Monday. I waited until today. So may he rest in peace. And until next time, y'all, I gotta go. Bye.